within a single strike or 2 strikes. It deals between 80 to 90 damage depending on how good you are as a player. Yes, exactly. So we'll get to the swords later because they do function quite differently from the muskets, but that gives you a basic idea of the base HP damage. Oh, something also to know, the base HP damage, we're also using it to nerf the flex down. I'm pretty sure if you've noticed it already, they barely do any damage now, but you can still use them as a defensive weapon to stun an opponent, as we've always intended them to be. They are a support class, not an offensive class, so if you're a flag bearer now, you're better off switching. Yes, as you can see, it's just 11 damage there, which is, you know, a bit short of one-tenth of the opponent's HP. So you're going to take a lot of strikes to kill someone with a flag. Right, back to the muskets. I think it is going to die, but all right, good. So the global weapon scale, that's something that we use for testing. You don't really have to pay attention for that. That's just a global weapon scale, as the name suggests. And now we start adding what we call damage modifiers to the base HP damage, and there are 4 of those modifiers. The first one is the duration damage. The duration damage calculates how long a strike has been in flight. So as soon as I release the strike, right, I'm holding my left click, and then I let hold of the left click. As you can see, obviously there's a certain duration that the strike takes, and apologies for that. And we take a certain amount of, we do a calculation which starts from 0, and then it goes to a 1, right? It reaches a peak, and then it starts going down again. The reason why we are doing this is to disencourage players from spin stepping a whole lot, right? Now, if you are spin stepping, you will be dealing less damage. So doing this sort of movement, right, releasing your strike from here and then spinning inside an enemy, it will start to deal much less damage than before. Then we have the second modifier, which is the distance damage. The distance damage calculates the distance between players. So we're talking about literal physical position of both players. I'm going to strike at it here. And the damage modifier has now dealt 0.6 of a 1 base damage. As you can see, the damage there was quite low compared to what I was dealing before. And the reason for this is because we wanted to discourage players from face hugging whilst in melee combat. I'm pretty sure that, at least for the most part, everyone here agrees that it doesn't really make for nice gameplay to always try to get into someone's face, right, and kill them off that way. We are now encouraging players to stay more to a mid to a long range fight if you want to deal a proper amount of damage, right? But once again, if you're up close like this, you will not be dealing a whole lot of damage. So that's another change to the melee combat. Then there's the third modifier, momentum. So momentum, as the name suggests, depending on if you are going forwards, strafing, or backwards, you will deal a certain amount of damage, either more or less. If you're going forward, I would have dealt the most amount of damage, like this. As you can see, I managed to deal a 64 damage strike, which is relatively on the high end for the muskets. That means that if I do another slight level of strike, I would have killed my enemy, right? And finish my opponent in 2 strikes instead of 3 to 4. Yes, indeed. Anything below 30 would be, you know, a slightly bad strike on my end. Obviously, if I'm walking backwards like this and strike my enemy, I would be dealing less damage. As you can see, that momentum damage modifier from 1 it changed to 0.9, so it will result in less damage. Then we have the fourth modifier to the game. Can you reload or aim?
Did you do strafing?
Strafing? I didn't show strafing yet, but there's not much difference between strafing and turning forward. Alright, just reload, there we go. Boom, single strike. So, you might be asking, why the hell has that strike dealt 139 damage, right? Finishing off my opponent in a single strike. That's because we have a multiplier which we call fiddling for some reason in the game. And that deals an additional extra damage if the opponent is either aiming or reloading. I'm pretty sure you know the reason why we've done this, right? So if you as a player want to play the gamble to try to shoot someone off just before he reaches you, you are going to be playing, you know, a gamble, really. It's if he reaches you, you will die instantly. So just it's upon you to take the decision either to switch to melee combat or try to kill your enemy off at close distance. This was already in the previous game version, the final damage modifier, but obviously since all the strikes killed with a single hit, no one really noticed any of these differences. Right? But now all the strikes kill between 2 to 4 hits for the muskets and the swords, and then you could go up to 8 strikes or even more with flex. Right, so that should be it for the melee combat, unless I'm forgetting something.
Don't think so.
Yeah, just to give a general idea, right? All you will have to do, if you
should we
want to
mention
maximize
the,
your opponent,
Should we mention the fizz?
Oh, I'll mention them later. So if you want to maximize your opponent's damage, you'll have to do this sort of movement. You're running forwards towards the enemy. You will time your strike so that it doesn't stay long mid-flight, and then you would release your strike, preferably without spin stabbing. Alright. Oh, maybe we should discuss the swords, right? Since they also function differently now from the rest of the weapons, quite differently. I'm going to switch classes.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but when I try to join a server, I still have the black screen.
I got
Because
the
I
same
just
problem
finished
here.
my
Same?
download.
Alright,
Same
alright.
problem here.
Then, just one moment, let me reload the map again.
That's okay.
If you guys could hit F2 and see if there's
No,
any
no,
cursor.
it's a bug, we have to look into it. So,
Thanks.
That's fine.
should be able to log in now, right?
Yep, I'm loading.
Brilliant, brilliant. Nice little circle again.
Potato.
Come on, form circle.
User was moved to your channel.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
User disconnected from your channel.
Right, awesome. So, now when it comes to the swords, we are doing some slight changes between the muskets and the swords themselves, more specifically on the duration damage. As I've mentioned before, we are now encouraging players to use the musket as it should be, right? So you are stepping instead of slashing, like we were encouraging you previously to do so in 0.15 because of spin stabbing. With a sword, however, since it's a slashing weapon, it doesn't really make that much sense that we will also not allow you to spin with it since it's a slashing weapon, right? If I do this sort of movement, I will still deal the same amount of damage as I would if I just stand still. This is one of the significant changes. I'll explain what the damage reflective 50% is afterwards. So this is one of the significant changes with the swords here.
I need someone to move, please.
Yes, I need an enemy here because it's
Thank
damage
you.
reflective at the moment. And swords deal between 30 to 40 damage, 25 to 40 damage per strikes. Just so you know, staying up close to an enemy, face hugging that is, as you can see, it still deals less damage than you would before. So the most modifiers that are impacting swords at the moment are momentum, it's the direction that you are running at the moment, and then more so than the momentum is face hugging. So the distance between players. And this is how we've used all these modifiers to balance out swords and musket combat gameplay, right? We will also be using them in the future when we look into introducing other weapons, perhaps have things done differently for an officer's sword and the rifle and the sword that the rifleman is equipped with, the sword bayonet, and all these other different weapons in the game. So this is the system that you are seeing here that you will be utilizing even when we introduce existing weapons to balance them out altogether. Alright, before I explain damage reflective, right, and what the hell that is, do you chaps have any questions about the melee?
Do you want to show
Feel free
me
to speak
upstairs?
out. Oh yeah, upstairs damage. 85. 2 hits. So yeah, it does deal a lot of damage compared to all the others, like.
I have a question actually.
Go ahead.
I kind of missed the first half. Sorry. The hitboxes seem to have previously been a problem. Is that
Yes.
Is that something that's being sorted out in this patch? Or?
Alright, so that was one of the changes I forgot to mention, which is relatively important. Hitboxes, yes, were also a part of this update. There are still some things we will be working out, more specifically when players collide into one another. But the reason why melee combat is also feeling fluid more so compared to the previous game version 0.15, is because of hitboxes, right? We did do a lot of work on that, and now they should be more accurate. Even when fighting with swords, I'm pretty sure that all of you have noticed slashing right through someone and not hitting him at all, which could piss you off quite dearly. Those instances should be, for the most part, fixed. We will now be engaging, just so you know, into testing with higher player count numbers. We will gauge how things are there. And then Charlie 25 tested it already, and yes, he's very happy with the new sword combat. And we will be looking into server optimizations, which have also been ongoing throughout the previous week and also the next one, to make sure that the servers are running stable.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Welcome.
Quickly, it was actually to do with the thing you just said a few seconds ago, with having a high number of players on the server. I've been thinking about it. So, would there be any desync of any kind, or would the servers actually get hit by it? If there's, like, let's say 150 players on the server at the same time with the entire melee system, how would that work?
But this is something that we are still testing out. However, it should still be performing better than it was before. At the moment, it wasn't out. We didn't test. The reason why I can provide a very clear answer is, well, we need testing, right? After testing with 150 players, we will then just look into the issues there and continue optimizing up to a point where we know melee combat also feels very fluid with a good amount of players. However, today we've been upwards to a 30, and even though there was a lot of melee combat happening all around, it was still feeling good. So that should be decent for now.
Well, great. That was just all.
Awesome. Someone asked questions about player count, even though it's not really, it doesn't have anything to do with melee combat, but yes, at the moment our target is to make sure that the game, even with this new melee combat system, right? Since everything is now feeling more responsive, we also want to make sure that it feels relatively the same when there's a high amount of players in the server. And that's an extra amount of work. We did optimize everything already quite early, but it still has to be tested out. Once we are sure that everything is running smoothly as we intend to on 150 players, then we start looking into increasing the player count. I would love to increase the player count more. However, I cannot provide any official response yet on that, because you know how we work. We test, we make sure something is possible, and then we can provide a more clear answer on that. Alright, any more questions about melee?
May I ask one? Is there any random chance involved, or is it all calculated?
So
like, is there like any random critical hits, or is it completely calculated?
it's completely calculated. We ensure that there's no randomization, just because randomization decreases the skill gap. This way you can practice at dealing strikes which do deal more damage as players which have been playing the beta for a short while, right? You can already see them killing opponents very efficiently sometimes in 2 strikes, which gives you a significant advantage over the other player. Any more
thank you.
questions? Melee? No worries.
I have a question.
Yeah,
This,
go ahead.
this one is about blocking.
Yeah.
When I started playing this game, I noticed something interesting with
Mm-hmm.
the directional blocking. It doesn't take into account the direction you move while you're blocking, and that has infuriated me to no end.
Yes, and in the game at the moment we only calculate the direction that you are blocking. So if you are blocking right, and you can't just turn your character from that direction to block it in that way. To be honest, we could look into a similar system in the future. Just so you know, this is only the first version of the melee combat. We did work quite hard though, because we wanted to make sure that even the first version feels something that players can definitely compete in. But we have more to do, and some ideas that also players suggested, including secondary strikes, maybe even a chambering mechanic, right? Those are all still up for grabs.
I think you misunderstood my question, but that was very informative. What I meant is, I'm blocking up now. I'm moving my camera down. I stop blocking. I press block, and it blocks up again.
All right, so then
Oh yeah.
go to settings, then game. Scroll down at the very bottom, and locate melee combat. There's a slider there. Same attack sensitivity. Can you tell me what is set at the moment?
1.
It's 1. All right. So then it should be good enough. That's how it. All right. I haven't heard of this problem before from players, as in trouble switching from up to down strikes. I have no issues myself, but
It only
definitely.
seems to count whenever the movement after I stop blocking.
Movement after you stop blocking.
Yes.
In the previous version, you couldn't do that. Yes, because an animation, what we refer to as an animation, right? It wasn't interruptible. However, now it should be. That was also one of the minor fixes we did to improve responsiveness.
Well, it's still the same as the old
You still
version.
feel the same? All right.
Yep.
Does anyone feel like that?
No.
I haven't really noticed.
Not to an extent, no.
I think it also helps when you turn the slider down more.
Just a question. When it comes to like chambering mechanics and all, you just mentioned it, future wise and all. The stun mechanic that you talked about, like in NW back in the time, not to mention any other game.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know that you can stun people in the last attack they made. Are we gonna see something similar?
So that is the exact chamber mechanic that we've been talking about, right? Obviously, this is just an idea. I would laugh after players have had a good go at this new melee combat mechanic. You know, tactics and different gameplay styles will evolve with these changes. I'm pretty sure that sometimes opinions might change, but just so you know, I am very open to increasing the skill gap of the game even further after this update. And two of those ideas are to first include secondary attacks, something similar to a kick in Warband, but doing it differently. And then secondly, chambering mechanics, right? So then you could cancel an opponent's strike by doing an idle to hold strike movement and then get a strike in. Just how chambering works in Warband.
Beautiful.
Cool. Any other questions you guys want to ask?
Yeah, this may seem a bit far away, but is there going to ever be another way of stunning someone, like, I don't know, like spit in their face, or will it always be with a bayonet or like with a sword, for example?
Alright, I mentioned secondary attacks before.
Yeah.
And secondary attacks, you could also consider it as a stun, because what it will be doing, right? Yes, it is in the form of a kick. When I mention a secondary attack, so we have two ways of doing this. It's either going for a kick or something slightly more original, but I also feel that it will feel much more responsive if instead of that, we'll just have a push with a musket and a hit with the sword pummel, right? They will still do the same thing, which is break the opponent's block and slightly stun him for the duration, but this way we could still allow the character to move around instead of you getting stuck in location because you're kicking, and increase the skill gap slightly, and also workload. I'm not sure what you chaps think, if you like kicking or secondary attacks with pushing someone with a musket better or a sword pummel. These are all ideas for now that we can work with in the future.
Really awesome. Look forward to it.
It does.
Brilliant.
One last thing from me. Things like this. I think it's hold on. It's one of it. I'll just ask. Drew fighting maps and maps designated for this kind of stuff, and maps that actually dare this out. You know, basically says you can't shoot on this map, and so on and so on. Are we going to see things like that?
Just wait a little bit more. I'll skip to the next question for now. You'll see.
Fair enough.
Yeah, maybe someday.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday.
Yeah, long time away.
Any other questions? Good chaps?
Yeah, I would have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry if this has been already asked or mentioned,
It's okay, it's
but I didn't get it. So will there at any point in time be a damage modifier for certain areas of the body? For example, stabbing from the back in the head of the enemy will deal more damage than stabbing from the front in his knee or something like that.
So one of the suggestions that we've got up to a few weeks ago was that we could include an additional damage modifier for when striking opponents in the back, and I do think that something like that would be quite nice, especially for group fighting scenarios. We'll have to test out how that it all works, because it will become more forgiving to face your back against the enemy to try to disengage, right? Though now that running backwards, apologies for that, is faster, it might not be as much of an issue as before.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Do you want to show him the thing now?
Alright, someone had a question about hitboxes?
Yeah, were hitboxes like adjusted at all?
Yes, as I said before, we did a lot of work on hitboxes already. There are still some work we'd like to do, especially when it comes to players bumping into each other. But now hitboxes should feel a lot more responsive than they were before, as in less strikes going into strikes passing through an enemy without dealing any damage whatsoever. Which was one of the primary reasons everyone was so pissed off with the previous melee combo. So, anyone want to ask us about Fist, maybe?
Oh yeah, that one. So, I saw something again in another game. You could actually chamber with the fist. Is it something we're gonna see here? I hope not, but if it is,
Are you
it
talking
could be
about?
fun to chamber Baronet.
Well, what we've done with Fist, I don't believe. No, you shouldn't be able to chamber with a fist, but you can now paint. We've also fixed a lot of the animations, as you can see, and now, well, fist fighting is much nicer, I guess.
Oh my!
Is
It's
it
still-
like fist fighting is gonna take forever?
It does.
Good old
Which
Fight
is
Club.
awesome, actually.
Rule number one.
Legit, we're
never
just gonna
talk
make a
about
server
Fight
just for
Club.
fist fighting. It's gonna be like the Tavern fist fighting.
Is there a way to increase?
Well,
is there a
that's
way
one
to
way
like?
to end the fight. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, by the way, Rexia is the chap who's been working on melee combat. He's been go-kitted for over a month now. Yeah, he's got to deal with a lot of stuff to come to this point where everything is feeling this through. So I think it's a good job to him.
Very good job.
I think it's great work so far, boys.
Am I showing the thing?
Mit Gott, für König und Vaterland.
Awesome. Any more questions about the melee specifically?
Well, any way to like increase ragdoll so like you punch someone and they fly across the map, or is that like, or is that a bit of a random question?
Oh my!
Well, no, because I
You can actually-
I just
you
really
can-
want to like
you can-
falcon
you can-
punch someone
you
across
can
the
do
map.
that now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You can,
There's a
just
combo
increase
one.
you can increase, yeah.
Okay,
The
fair
ragdoll
enough.
circle one. But we have different animations with the low strike. Wait, let me try to really get it with this. There you go. See?
Oh my
Fantastic
god, you
content.
can send people to the moon!
Reflex, can we actually do a John Cena? I just want to be, you know, it's interesting. It's a good question.
Yeah, is there
You
there
can
gonna be
try.
like fight animations? I want to do an
Oh,
RKO.
we can try.
you know?
Okay. I really
You
want
there?
to see Walkie get beaten and fly over like 20 didn't mean anything.
All right. So if you chaps don't have any more questions about the melee, I can start going through other stuff that we've done besides the melee combat.
Someone asked about it earlier.
Melee? More melee?
Yeah, just show them the thing.
Not for now. I'd have to restart the server before I can show the thing because.
Damn it.
Yes. I wanted to ask if that bug was due to that, but it wasn't. So not for now. Just some brief explanations here. As you can see, we're now displaying the officer icons in a different icon on the minimap. They're now star-shaped. Just a nice little addition for public play, maybe for online battles as well. The biggest change of all in this update, right? Screw the melee combat is bigger compass bearings.
Oh yeah, that's so useful. now.
Plus one.
+1, right? Definitely +1.
Hey, is there, I don't know if this is just my monitor, but like some of the stars look more yellow than the others. Like some of them are like orange and some of them are like really like fluorescent yellow.
One of
Yes.
them's
Is
your
that
friends.
just an artistic
Your
effect? So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's like two different yellows. There's like orange and then there's like a really fluorescent yellow.
They are
Must be
quite
my monitor.
similar, but that's because one of them is your friends, so friends are yellow, and the normal icon, if that player is not your friend, it's more orange. Alright, so I'm pretty sure you've noticed the crosshair, right? Some changes to
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Now the crosshair is dynamic. When you walk around, you are going to lose. The crosshair is pulsating down and up. If you stop, it starts detecting back down to its original position. And we're also using this to nerf riflemen more, even though they will be nerfed further in future patches. But things like if you're equipped with a rifle, it will take long for the crosshair to retract back to its original position. If it's with a musket, it will take less. With a pistol, slightly less than that. Though yes, we know pistols are still slightly overpowered, so we'll be balancing them that in a future update as well. And besides the changes to the dynamic crosshair, some chaps have already noticed that you can configure it. You can just go to settings and game, scroll down at the very bottom or slightly at the bottom, and there's crosshair configuration. So we have red, green, and blue, which allows you to change the colors, right, of your crosshair, transparency as well, and then we also have different crosshair styles that you want. There's a variety of crosshairs to choose from. Just see what you would prefer. If you want to change your crosshair, make sure that you respawn so we can see the changes that you've done.
Is the like the is it random? Like how is it measured in any way, or is it like based on the walking, or like I don't know how to measure it, but how to say it, but like.
Do you mean
is it
like
based
when
on the step?
like
If you are
when you're
moving-
walking and pulsing up, do you wait for it to get as small as possible?
Yeah. Or is it like I don't know how to explain like.
It's
Like
if
left,
you are
right, left,
walking,
right, or-
if you are walking, yes, like if you are walking, still like the crosshair what it does, it just pulsates, right? So it goes
Okay.
larger, smaller, larger, smaller. As soon as you stand still and idle, the crosshair will retract back, and it will give you a better aiming indication
Kill
of where
me.
the hell you're going to shoot.
I just shot a gram.
Another big change we've done, I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with how sometimes you could have killed your enemy off during line battles. Sorry, your ally off during line battles while standing shoulder to shoulder and fighting from third person, right? That doesn't happen anymore. So Chaps can finally again play with friendly fire disabled and fight properly in line battles.
Very nice.
So what you're saying is like when you shoot from third person, it comes from your gun and not from over your shoulder, basically.
This Wookie here, you can explain this maybe, once we did this?
Yes. That is exactly what you just described. It used to come from the actual third-person camera, like the camera position, the active one. Now it actually originates from the rifle or the musket. And so you can't actually shoot anyone standing in your line in third person anymore.
Praise Walker.
Alright, awesome. We had a lot of issues with that.
Yeah, we had to drill people to always use first-person camera.
And now you don't, so...
Yeah, slightly annoying, right?
Now people can use what they prefer.
Yes, indeed. Alright, another change we've done. Someone asked about the reflective damage. So, as I've said before, besides the fact that you can either enable or disable friendly fire altogether, you can also place an additional configuration setting on the server that does reflective damage. Now, reflective damage, as the word states, is damage that you will receive if you hit a friendly opponent. At the moment, the reflective damage is set to 50, and just like hitting a friendly player, and you will receive a message, right, alerting you that you've hit a friendly player, and you will see your health reducing as well. At the moment, it's set to 50%, so if you've dealt 80 damage to that opponent with either your firearm or a melee strike, you will receive 40% of the damage back. The reason why we've done this is because we want to encourage more team play to occur, right, on public servers, and it doesn't really make for a nice melee combat gameplay if everyone is spamming strikes through each other, you know, not caring, just clipping and all that really horrible stuff that happens in the current game version without any consequence. As I said before, if friendly fire now is disabled, right, so you still cannot kill off. If you still cannot kill off your teammates, you will be stunned if you hit a friendly player. You could try it yourself, and you could see your character play. Oh, that's another addition that we've done to the melee combat. I'm pretty sure you've noticed the hit reaction animations, right? So when you receive damage, you will see your character react in a certain way, and that gives you an indication that also you should be blocking during the time frame. There's a walking and run stance token indicator underneath the minimap, pretty handy for line battles.
Am I alright to just ask a quick question about the melee again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry if this has already been mentioned because AFK for a brief while. I know it's a long way off, but has this melee system been reworked with cavalry in mind and how it will work with that?
Yes. So each and everything that we've been doing right now, including server responsiveness, hitboxes, these will all contribute towards cavalry. Since they will travel at a faster pace, we need to make sure that everything is more accurate.
Yeah.
And it should be possible even as things stand right now to have a close, cavalry introduced into the game.
Cool.
This may be the wrong time for the question, but will cavalry be 2 hitboxes, like man and rider, or rider and horse, or will it be 1? And then if the horse gets killed, you get killed too?
But for now, we haven't started any of the nitty-gritty work on the cavalry mechanic, just so you know, because our priorities is, as you might have noticed from the trend of updates, to make sure that the infantry-based mechanics, right, are solid. This is why we'll be doing artillery next in the update. and some more additions maybe to melee combat and some additional changes to animations. But if players are satisfied with the current state of melee combat, we can move on to other features, and then we can come back to melee combat after a few more updates. But yeah, cavalry is still on our list, just so you know, and we want the rider to have a different hitbox than the horse, as that would be the more optimal way of having cavalry in the game.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Oh, there's been another change. So besides, due to this all the optimizations, we've also optimized VoIP severely. At the moment, it is slightly broken, though it has already been changed. Sometimes some stuttering happens when 3 or more players are speaking over one another. Though, as I said before, this has already been fixed, but we've reduced bandwidth significantly. That occurred when players were speaking through VoIP, so that's another change, and it should also be more clear. No, significantly clear. We're using the same codec as TeamSpeak and Discord uses.
Question to that. I've been having an issue since I actually bought for Holdfast, and I'm legit trying to kill myself by trying to fix it. It's giving me a headache. In-game, in any other application, I know you're saying you're going to switch it over to the TeamSpeaks and all that, I'm happy about that. But I sound so quiet in-game, like really quiet. I tried to turn up my microphone, anything like it just didn't work.
Did you try to boost your settings?
I needed to boost, like I need to put it on transient, then I need to boost it in another program as well. Like
if you turn it up in,
you need to boost it on your PC settings.
If you turn it up through Steam, it won't affect Discord and TeamSpeak. So like, if you shift tab and then go to your friends list, in the top right there's a gear, and if you increase your Steam voice, it fixes it there.
Oh, fair enough. But to another point, will that be fixed actually? Voice communication.
Playing around with voice values, as in, it's quite a tricky subject, because if we start to increase the volume, then the current players will suddenly be very, very, very loud, right? So
I know.
I cannot give an accurate answer on that right now. We still have yet to determine if it's an actual problem just coming from the player side of things, or if VoIP is sometimes not functioning as intended. However, we literally do nothing in the game that could prevent you from sounding lower, besides settings on your Windows.
It's just pretty sad because you know the main issue is that I increase my volume and all that, and then I talk in game, and then somebody asks me a question on TeamSpeak, and as soon as I start speaking, they get a fucking ear rape.
Like I said, if you change it on Steam, it won't affect your external applications. Like TeamSpeak and Discord.
If you can help me off, I'll be happy about that. I tried my best. Didn't work.
Yeah, maybe you can help them out a bit, Caleb.
Sure, I mean, I'll show you what I've done, but I don't know if it might be I don't know, could be something else.
Right,
good look at it.
Egypt's had a good go with the sword combat as well, by the way. Good fight there.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
Awesome.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So it is concerning the crosshair. What I have
Yes.
noticed in third person, for example, right now, when I start aiming, right, and then I crouch, it seems that the crosshair is actually smaller when I stand.
Yes.
So does that mean that your aim is better when you stand?
That means that your aim is better when you're crouching, right? If the
No,
is smaller.
it is smaller when I stand.
Yes.
That is the thing.
The smaller when.
It is bigger
Which one?
when he's sitting down.
Exactly.
It should be the other way around.
Only in first person though, for me, I think.
No, I'm noticing the same. It's not a very big difference, but there is a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference. I think with the muskets it might be more pronounced. I'll just check that out.
Yeah, it's like a 0.1% difference, but it should become smaller if you're crouching, because currently there's a small accuracy bonus applied whilst you're crouching.
Yes.
Yeah, which is weird, because the crosshair is showing the opposite.
Oof. Trying to see.
I'll investigate that. No worries. I'll see. I'm pretty sure I made it. So,
Yes. Alright. We'll just sit down and have a look at it. By the way, it could be a slight bug, so we'll look into it. Thanks again, mate, for noticing that.
Don't worry, man.
Brilliant. Alright. Any more questions?
I would have a question, not necessarily regarding any of the things you said, like on melee, but
Okay, go ahead.
are you planning on adding special effects for the different classes, so that the line infantry classes, that the differences they have, that you feel them more in game, and B, any, for example, bonuses when you're standing in line, for example, an accuracy bonus when you're standing in formation, or health bonus or something in that direction.
So yes, we do plan on reworking the class system, right? There's going to be a class system update. We'll be introducing those traits and benefits we've talked previously in our earlier blog post, and yes, we will be differentiating more between classes, lights, and lines. Throughout this process as well, I want to once again include a whole lot of the community to make sure that we gather some nice feedback. I don't want the changes to be extremely significant, right, when the classes, but I do want it to have an impact, right? So if you're playing with the light infantry, then you will be running more faster, but be slightly worse at melee.
Oh, nice.
And various other stuff for the other classes.
Now
right?
I can help you faster, Cernox.
I have a question.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is there already a release date for this update?
So, at the moment, as long as you chaps are liking the improvements and changes that you're seeing here, what we plan on doing is make sure that the game is first and foremost stable, with a whole bunch of players, and then we'll do those fixes if any issues come up. We still have some bugs to fix, but our target for release is within this month.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
We can speak about the rate of updates, Reflex maybe?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. So now, obviously, we did hear a lot of player feedback with regards to the updates, right? First and foremost, we do apologize. Yes, this update did take quite a while for us to complete. The reason for that was because, as you might have imagined, it's been a lot of work. It wasn't just the melee that we had to do, but also a lot of the underlying core mechanics, and which will also be going on throughout the next week. But for future updates, what we plan on doing is to have more constant public betas ongoing, and instead of having a really big update being released within a month and a half, we could do that update between 3 to 4 weeks. It will have slightly more or less content, of course, but we'll keep the existing player base happy with a constant stream of updates, right? It could also be something simple as us releasing a new map. If we're doing something very complicated that we can't really release it after a month, right? But at least players will get something new to play with every month.
Are you ever planning on having a random map generator?
Random map generators, something we'd love to look into. I can't promise anything with that regard for now, but yes.
Because that would make line battles a very fun thing.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's definitely
I
fun.
definitely agree. That should be a huge priority.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, since obviously players did express that they want smoother melee combat mechanics, we do literally just work based on players' feedback for the most part. A lot of players have also been looking forward for artillery mechanics, so we've promised that. But just so you know, just because I said I can't promise anything doesn't mean that we will not be looking into it. It's just that we also have an obligation, right, to make sure that we continue paying the employees that we are working with. So it wouldn't be that great for us to over-promise features and then
not
have something
be able to deliver them. Yeah.
And not only that, you know, just stay in constant early access limbo, which is not very appreciative by a lot of players.
Will surgeons ever get like a points boost for healing people?
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
Will there be the possibility of locking out surgeons so they cannot be picked?
Locking out surgeons so they cannot be picked. Any specific reason for that?
Either locking so they can't use their healing, or so they can't be picked.
In the future, we'd love to provide like players with the functionality to select their own specific amount of classes like that they want per map rotation. So if you want to play with line infantryman only, you would be able to do that. If you want to take rifleman out of the configuration, then you can do that as well. That's something which we still plan to do.
Can we take rifles out of the public servers as well?
Yes, and the game.
Well, the game no, but we will be balancing rifleman. We know it's overpowered at the moment, so yeah, they're going to be receiving some nice nerfs in the future.
Just to comment on the melee in general, I think you guys have definitely done many good steps in the right direction here. It feels way better than it did before, so
Awesome.
good job on that.
Yeah.
But
Thank you very much.
I would wish to see it be more fluid as well in the future. I of course understand this is the first major melee update, but do you plan on making it even more? Because as I feel right now, it's like I'm not in full control yet of my character and the combat, and comparing it to NW, NW still feels more smoother and more fluid. Do you agree, or what do you think?
Yes. How many hours did you play in NW?
Oh, over 1,000, so...
Alright. Yeah,
17k here.
That's a good point. It's not. I don't really want to go ahead into comparing systems, but obviously, one thing we can never do is not have an exact replica.
Of course.
However, yes, there are some instances that I still believe we can do better. More specifically, for instance, consecutive striking. At the moment, the strike is going back to idle instead of going from what we would refer to a strike to another strike immediately afterwards. That's part of how we like to improve on fluidity, and maybe changing the way blocking animations appear as well slightly, which could help improve more upon that. So yes, we do have more ideas on how to make the melee system more fluid.
Okay, that's great. Looking forward to it.
Check your Steam, please.
Yeah, I think it was great.
Also, one moment before I shut down, I have to shut down the server to show something off after this one.
Yeah, it's not.
But all right.
Could you just check your Steam one more time?
I will. 1 moment. My Steam.
Just wanted to let you know. Okay, once you see it, you're all good.
Alright, awesome. No worries.
Yeah, I have definitely noticed that the melee feels way smoother than it did before. The hits connect more like they should, but I've still noticed a few of those old issues where your hit is just going straight through your opponent and not connecting.
If, as I said before, if you are colliding through your opponent, sometimes that might happen. However, we are also significantly disencouraging that with the new damage mechanics. But just so you know, we will continue to look into these kind of issues in the future. But for now, obviously, we're just going to work with the players to determine if players are already happy with this, and then we can do something else before moving forward to more melee combat improvements. The NHFs were already very happy with this, so that's the conclusion I came up with.
They were very, very happy is kind of an understatement. They were kind of screaming when we showed them something. It is, we'll see.
Yeah, but just let us know really what you think of it in general as well, and if you give me some time, I need to do something on the server. Just a command.
May I ask why? Like, I don't know. I've just noticed this. Like, I think the collar on the right hand goes through the bayonet. Is this a known issue, or is this just a...
The collar?
Yeah. Like the collar on the bayonet, especially on the... I don't know. I'm using line of infantry right now. It goes through the butt of the musket. Is that... I don't know. Is that... been pointed out before?
It's just a rigging issue. However, some of the stuff we do it because it just makes more sense for gameplay reasons. Right?
Okay.
If we're going to make the musket higher, it's going to feel much more detached from the flare. So
Okay.
sometimes we do sacrifice some looks for just great gameplay. That's the entire reason for that.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know if that's already been asked, but will there be a new line metal map with the next update?
Maybe.
Big secret.
Snowy Plains 14.
Oh yeah, hit 100.
Year 2020, right? One more. Rexia, can you remind me the FPS command?
The what?
The FPS command for the server.
/cat server FPS, I think, something like that. Private message me the password, I can check it.
Oh yes, I figured it out. Thanks for
Alright,
that.
no worries.
Oh, I noticed something new that I haven't seen in the previous patch. I can actually see my ping on my screen without opening the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's another addition that we've done. Just so you know, sometimes that ping might not exactly reflect the situation that you are in at the moment, because there's an additional thing in networking we refer to as packet loss, which literally means you've lost a packet, which for the most part doesn't really reflect in your latency. And if you lose a packet, sometimes you might see something off, especially since the melee combat is very, very fast paced, right? That means if you lost a packet which states, oh, you've blocked, then you're going to be saying that block from the other person is slightly more delayed, which might give you the impression I've struck to his block or something like that. We're talking about milliseconds here, but milliseconds impact melee combat.
Milliseconds matter in games like this.
Yeah, they do. They matter a lot in melee combat. They don't matter a lot in the other mechanics because they're very slow, but melee combat is extremely fast paced. So
I play Counter-Strike. I know even a few ping can make the difference.
Yes, it does. Right.
Just to think correctly, I recognize a bunch of games have this. They have like an ID of some sort. Like, are we gonna see something similar in Hellfast that we can use for, let's say, whitelisting, scripting, things like that? If we're gonna have anything like that.
Server-side scripting, as in?
Yeah, things like side scripting and all that kind of stuff.
That might be a little bit too difficult to do right now, but it just depends on what you would like to do with it really. If you have an idea, which perhaps we can do ourselves, or expose certain functionality so that you can.
Well, I think whitelisting. I know the game is not that. I'll say it's not finished yet or anything like it, but I'm just going with a suggestion: having an ID system of some sort. Like when you join a server, it says your ID is that and that and that, like we had in W.
We have that already. We are now logging. Oh wait, but you haven't been here for quite a long while, right? So in the previous update, we've done player logging. You can enable it on your server if you want to, and it will start to take into account each and every time a player logs into your server. You will see his team ID, so you know exactly what the hell that player is. If he's been doing something iffy whilst you're not there during your off hours, you can just gather his team ID and ban him. Right? Just put his ID in the ban list, and that's it. Simple.
Pretty great.
Awesome. Right. So before we show something else off, I'm going to restart the server and I'm going to ask you chaps to rejoin again.
Probably easier if you guys disconnect.
Yeah, you can disconnect for now.
If you don't disconnect, something is going to come and eat you. It's going to call the server restart, and it's going to hurt.
But what if I want the server restart to eat me?
Well, then we have an issue.
Just tell us when we need to reconnect, and then.
Will do.
Okay.
Oh yeah, one question I can ask you while you're restarting the server.
Go ahead.
Or is there any plans on reducing the ammo count on hardcore?
That's something I definitely like to look into. It's very easy for us to just change the hard count, but some feedback recently came up with regards to the shooting mechanics, and I also agree to them to a certain extent that sometimes long range engagements are still very, very deadly in line battle play. And
I mean,
they
are, which is why reduced ammo count would matter.
It would, but it would only impact it so much, right? If we do that without also changing some of the shooting mechanics, I fear that it might result in some more camping. Because you have less ammo, so you need to make your shots count, but you can still make your shots count at a very long distance, which will result in, unfortunately, more camping.
We'll have to see how it is.
Can I butt in here?
Yes.
Yeah, I do
you
like
thought about changing the reload times at all?
That's another interesting part. I am open to changing to increasing slightly or decreasing slightly the rate at which muskets are reloaded, right? So at the moment it's somewhere between 11 to 12 seconds. It could go upwards to 14 seconds, right, without pissing everyone off. And that's something which I also think it could benefit line battle play greatly, and it's another balancing factor that we can use to find a nice balance between melee and shooting.
So will drummers increase reload speed then? Or marching speed?
There will be one of the classes that will be at least giving an extra slight bonus on the reload rate. We'll see how that will work out, but in games, you know, when you're designing a lot of this stuff, it's just a lot of theory crafting, and then you see what works and implement it. One moment, let's restart the server.
You need to restart the map because of the bug.
Yeah, I think I've got the black screen of death again, so...
Right, should have not too much details. Right, the server should be up again. One moment, let me go to the toilet pretty quickly. I'll be back soon.
Ooh, what's this sacred arena thing then?
You know,
this,
anyway, I gotta say, so far I love it.
Indeed. Yeah, it just seems...
Invalid password. What?
Spelling.
And it's pretty interesting to know the system and the way they made it. Like, I remember back in the time when Walkey, no, not Walkey. Fuck, I fucked up again. Walkey, we're making this. We're making like the shooting system or the reticles and all that kind of stuff. That was some great stuff as well. And the same with Viking and the animations. That was pretty great as well.
Oh right, I forgot the capital.
Yeah.
I really like the new damage system though. Not being one, it seems to be working a lot better.
Well, again, it's a game under development. From what I can see, it's a really good game so far.
Without spoiling anything, I think you guys are gonna be really happy in a minute.
Ooh. Like, one thing that really disappointed me is that there's like those NW players, and no, I'm not admitting that, yes, I'm an NW player as well. I've played 17k hours, I've wasted my life on that.
17k?
Wait, 17,000 or 17?
I think we all have, right? So
17k, so that means, no, what am I on about? Oh, I fucked up again!
Are you okay?
No, I should be
right over there.
I have dedicated my life to Warband.
Yes, exactly. No, I mean 17 hours.
I play Warband to regain my energy.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been playing 17 hours.
Your money for your life.
Anyway, I'm stuck on a loading screen as well right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into the server. Rexy, are you in the server at the moment or not?
I am.
I'm loading in.
Reset the map.
Who did the away with you vile beggar?
I can get it if you want. Do you want a map
Oh, that
rotation one?
was me, sorry.
I can get it.
Yes, set it to the first map rotation. So what
User was kicked from your channel.
We're going to have to do the same thing, by the way, get it for the nice test. So
Oh my god,
players can
it's
get in.
I just saw an admin with gut powers. I'm killing myself now.
Andrew, could you send me the stuff you want us to test later, by the way, like a list, if you're not going to be around? You could just stay around of it.
Yes, I will stay around. I have to stay around to monitor the server performance anyway. So.
I wrote a lot of the things down just because I need to explain to my people. It's gonna be fun.
Oh, is everyone here not supposed to tell the teachers yet? I'm guessing still.
Yeah.
Or are we getting rid of that tonight?
Well, tonight we can just get rid of it, right? So because we're done with both of the tests.
Yeah. Okay, I figured.
Well, I guess
Aw.
let's just end this little of the discussion. First and foremost, is everyone in the server yet, or is anyone still experiencing the black screen bug?
Is this still EU8?
Yes.
Nine.
Nine.
That would explain a lot.
No, I'm not.
No, yes.
999.
No, we seem to have 29 people in. I
Yeah,
know
not
you're on
enough
the
Germans,
Prussian
yeah.
team, but if you say 9, you better be German.
Well, I'm German, so I'm allowed.
I'm German.
I'm Swedish.
No offense to Germans, I
31
like you.
There's 31 in the
Swedish people
server.
as well.
31 in the server right now.
Alright. I guess that's everyone then?
Yeah, do you want to show them the big one first?
Yeah, but first, before we head over to some new content, what do you chaps think overall of the melee combat?
I love it. So far,
I like it.
think it's a big improvement.
So fluid.
Much better.
Awesome.
And it seems you guys have really dedicated yourself on making it. Well done.
With it.
There's definitely been a lot of work.
I'm stuck on a black screen.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm going to restart the map so the chap which is stuck in the black screen can
Here,
work.
I got it.
Alright, do it.
Lieutenant Fortune.
Switch it to one
Just
again.
wall.
Switch it to one.
Yeah, obviously.
I have no hurry.
I'm not
Should
gonna,
we
I'm
stop
not gonna
killing
do
each
anything
other?
else. Okay. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything.
The best regiment out there is the No regiment. We can all agree on that.
All right.
It's been
is that-
really informative for our ranged specialist to be testing
Oh
the
no,
new melee
don't shoot
system.
him, Jed.
Like our good melee players couldn't go up to that.
Well,
You
you
could
can
have
say,
saved
but
it, hunt it down.
I'm pretty sure you've also had to do some melee yourself though, right? So you can get a personal
Yeah,
opinion of that.
we're still better than most people in melee. And we're the lights. It's funny to
I must
go
say-
in like 5 versus 20 and then the enemy survives with like 2, 3.
Yes. Let's
Like,
see,
just
so
look at the 51st. They just surround you. So like, when you shoot at them from long distance in a double column and you're like, oh, we got this. Then they're like, target that bitch. And then they target us and then we get destroyed. Oh. So dumb.
Station, let's see. 7. Alright, everyone in?
32 in the server.
Indeed.
Awesome. Let's check out some new content.
Get hyped, guys.
Hyped.
No hype. It's gonna be terrible.
And this is the moment where we see
Yeah.
Reflex's room. I'm so hyped.
You're right, Jamster. It is terrible.
Oh.
There's a much more
Castle
reserved
Arena,
reaction
million
compared to
New
yesterday.
map. That is the correct flag.
Is this what I think it is?
It's a
Wait,
siege
two-
map.
It's Egypt all over again.
And you can't fire. Wee.
Oh, hold on. This is not Egypt.
Hang on a minute, this
It's more
isn't
like
this isn't
Baghdad.
Snow 1.7. Hello?
It's another Griffith map.
This is Snowy Castle 1.
Yeah, make sure you have
Are
some
you
sound on.
kicking
But
your
without
Frenchies
snow.
over there?
We
Let's
should
shut
just
them down.
rename every map to Snowy, but without snow.
Prussians. Oh, no.
And then the snow maps you don't have.
Yeah, there's no actual snow on the snow
Yeah.
maps.
Yeah, we're just gonna rename desert maps to
Yeah.
snowy plains without snow.
Just to completely bamboozle everyone.
If you guys look above,
Oh,
you
it
can
is
see
on.
the faction
Ooh.
flags.
Oh, Jamster, can you go first? I don't want to die.
No.
Oh. Well, then be sacrifices.
Oh, this is
Ready
actually
to
really
kill
cool.
the Frenchies. No offense if anyone is French.
I'm
Let's get
coming
them.
for you, Rutherford.
Oh! Right.
So this is a little bit more chaotic than usual, just so you know. We do plan on having 2 servers in each region and maybe even an Australian one. hosting this game mode, and they're going to be 10 versus 10, right? So we're going to try to setting a competitive standard with that specific players.
For the United Kingdom. And
Oh.
Ooh, what is...
Damn, look at
Oh. That is sexy.
Hold on, this
Damn.
must be wrong.
I'm so moist right now.
Cernex first place on YouTube.
Chairman-
That must be wrong.
efficiency,
That
chairman
was
efficiency.
gorgeous. Holy shit.
You love that?
I need a minute after that.
That was cool.
I'm moister than an oyster.
Do it again. Do
After
it again.
It works in all game modes as well. Right, so
Oh, that was
let's
beautiful.
check out some more maps.
Ooh, more ones?
Does that new end screen happen on like everything now, or is it
I
just
got
the
a
arena?
developer now.
Nope, it's everything.
Oh.
Except deathmatch, right?
Oh my.
Sorry, it's all game
Except,
modes.
yeah, just not deathmatch, right?
Another
Yes, it
Oh,
does
this is
have
gonna be
a-
crap.
Like somewhere in
Wait,
France.
can we jump in that well?
We better be able to jump in the well.
That's my first question. Can
That's
we
the
jump
first
in
question,
there?
right?
Okay, I'm actually gonna jump in there.
That needs to be a thing. You need to be able to jump down there and die.
Like, I know what
Walkie,
to
are
do
you
right
ready
now.
to do a sacrificial pit?
Sorry.
I'm
That's the
probably gonna
sacrificial
disappoint
pit.
you with.
Oh my god. We can't leave because of
I
the
swear,
price.
I
know what
swear
I'm
to
gonna
God, if we
try
can't
now?
jump into that, I'm gonna cry.
First order of
That's
business,
the
everyone
burning bush
charge
right
the
there. That's
pit.
God talking to us.
Oh yeah, just by the way, just so you know, so for this update, I don't think we'll be able to make it, but for the next one, we'll be introducing multiple rounds specifically for this game mode as well, so that it saves you time.
So you
from
can have like
loading
a
the map,
melee tournament
each and
as well.
everyone.
That's cool.
Yes, yes. The reason behind this game mode is to really start promoting melee combat in a more competitive standard, right? We also want to start hosting events, priced events. That way we can build a community together and then contribute upon
To
the
the
melee
pit.
system as well.
No!
No!
But the door hasn't opened.
I feel cheated.
There's a slight bug sometimes where the door doesn't open for some players, but we'll fix that. It's the beat of an alpha, sorry for that.
Meanwhile, everyone just runs straight through the door.
Like we had like 7-8 people running for the pit. We're like, yay, we're gonna be free. It was just big
I think one problem on that map might be that people just hide in the rooms at the end of the round.
Well, the
First 12 minutes. I hope.
Well,
not.
even then, it's all about score, though.
Yes.
And if the
I
other
gotta
team has
find
more
it
score,
developer
then
now.
after the time runs out.
Oh, look at him falling down.
Let's wait 10 minutes to run, man.
Oh. Rest in peace, Mr. Developer.
I shouldn't have killed myself. Oh wait, I'm still first. Very nice.
The well is
Oh,
a sacrificial
51st
well.
on the entire UK team. Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, apparently the well is not the sacrificial pit, but the flagpole is definitely the sacrificial pole.
That is, yes. It's a bit of a agenda,
Yes.
right? So-
If I see a sacrificial pit, I'm gonna yell.
Ooh.
Alright,
Oh
so
my.
we have 7 maps to show for this game mode alone.
One of
No,
the
no,
maps.
it's my place. Go off. No room for you guys.
What I would love would be one of these maps that is just full of like hazards and random traps.
You just
Traps.
walk out of spawn and fall in a hole and die.
Yeah, like a trapdoor that randomly
That's a
opens
kind of
and
fun
closes.
I have graphics.
Could be a thing.
If there isn't a snowy arena, I'm gonna uninstall this game, just so you know.
Yeah, snowy plains. Snowy
Okay,
arena.
boys. We're gonna kill the Prussians. No offense if anyone is German.
On Southern German, I am
will kill
totally
you for
fine.
that.
So
I
whatever
will- I will
you do,
kill
do not
you for
die.
that.
51st.
Wilson, I'll find you and kill you for what you just said.
No, dude, I'm just gonna retreat.
Oh, I see you. I
Sure,
see you
yeah.
running. I'll go get you. Oh, shit. I first have to kill a few guys though. Stop running back.
I'm gonna
Wilson.
sit with 61E.
No,
Shit,
I'll
sorry,
see
dude.
you.
It's all good.
You can't hide from me.
Everybody's blue, it's also confusing.
I'll remember that, Kuro. It's fine.
Okay, who
Oh
else
shit,
is
he's
Wilson?
actually
Oh.
coming.
Oh,
He's
there
actually
you
fucking
running.
coming.
Oh, it's on.
No.
Yes, Wilson, I got you. You shall not hate on Germans ever again.
I'm not hating on Germans.
Oh,
I'm
no.
just pointing out facts.
I died for my sins.
Hello.
Für Preußen.
Yes, very.
You can do it.
Oh, 51st
Go
going
get
all
him,
in.
champ.
Ooh, Fortuna.
Fortuna. Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah, that's your new name.
Alright, so now we'll
better
get
get that
3 snowy
9-1
maps in a
fortune.
row.
Let's go.
I'm gonna kill myself if I kill him. Oh.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
GG.
I can already say now, I believe that Fortune is going to be the first place.
How do you come
Oh.
Oh, hey, mate.
Good guess.
That's what I call a fucking murder spree.
Ooh, another one without snow though.
This one seems like Scotland Yard.
I do like how the desert maps, it can start snowing and it just gets covered in snow.
it just really starts snowing.
Well, it does have a very low percentage or chance of happening, right? Even in real life
Ah,
scenarios.
Yeah, but admins like to do it.
Fuck nature.
Okay,
we would just let it
reflex.
snow in the desert.
Didn't that happen like last year?
Are
Back in
you
real
ready
life.
to let's see if we can actually buck out of here? I want to see if I can actually break the map.
Yeah,
My
feel free.
first
Wait,
objective.
wait,
That's why we're
Wells,
doing the testing as
try
well.
to jump on me while I crouch.
Yes, if you
Are
sit
you kidding
down,
me? Sorry.
Lieutenant Colonel Charles Harry, if you sit down, there you go. Then I'm gonna jump
Well,
on top
the
of you
thing
guys.
is, in order to jump on someone, you need to be to have the high ground.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get the high ground. People just go down. Oh my god, incompetent. Just kidding. Oh, it's not working. We could just all stay in this corner, UK, and don't rush out.
You don't have the high ground.
Form a pike wall.
Yeah, we could form a pike wall. Then we'll never get in.
Form a wall.
Yeah, we're gonna
No,
form
it
a
starts
pike
raining.
wall. Some of
This
us.
is definitely
Fuck that. Hey, Bells is forming a pike wall. This is a really effective pike wall.
Don't worry about it, we can't lose.
Did I just get one shot?
Yes, you can one shot if you're very good.
Okay, we're gonna retreat, Second Lieutenant and Hey Bells, if too many Frenchies comes. No offense if anyone is French.
I don't think anyone is French here.
We are French. There are 2 French people in this
Oh,
team.
watch out, you just... Oh, that's an officer running. Oh, you step.
I am sorry.
Where are they?
GDE are French.
Did you just apologize for being French?
Actually, no, there's 3 people that
I'm
are
very
French.
sorry when I'm French.
Okay,
Please
so
accept my
if anyone is ready, let's try to hunt down people.
No.
Oh, watch out.
I think
Oh,
the
God.
last people
Oh,
will
yes.
be in the castle. They'll be hiding in there.
Oof.
It was
So,
a very good
uh,
attempt.
I have
Charles,
problems
Charles,
with the skybox.
Sneak in.
There's
Sneak in
like
there.
black cubes appearing.
Oh, yeah, they're
What,
there.
in the
They're there. They're
skybox?
trying to do a pike wall.
I don't know.
Are there?
Everyone, they are
Can you
in
include the
there.
person with the lowest score in the N word as well?
Or the person with the most team kills.
Just shaving him.
Are victorious.
Yeah.
Person with the most team kills.
Most dishonorable.
Maybe we can do achievements one day for that.
So
It'll be
nice
like
again, you better be kidding
it'll be
me.
like the old
German official.
Battlefront, where you'd have like the traitor at the bottom.
Traitor.
Oh,
There's
this
your
is
Snow.
Yes.
Finally.
Why is it
Finally,
called
my
Snowy
life can
Watchtower?
burn
There you
again
saved
because
some
my brightness
players.
is too high.
It's Snowy Watchtower Arena.
Yeah.
It should not
Free
be
name
called
one.
Watchtower Arena, it should be called
That's the
Snow
moment
Tower
we all say,
Arena.
yay, a snow map, and then we just figure we're all gonna
It
spawn
should
in
be
one
called
big pit
Snowy
and we all
Plains
die.
26.
We also do need sacrificial pit.
Oh, definitely.
I do
Sacrificial pit,
believe it should be a really important thing getting a sacrificial pit on the map.
What is,
like, somewhere we can, you know.
Oh yeah,
host
and
the
then
players in.
when kicking and shoving is added, you can shove people into the pit to get like double kills.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Sparta
and then
kicked
we can yell Sparta. You know?
Yeah, long century, mate.
Sparta.
Definitely things we need to prioritize in this game.
You can use VoIP, right?
Oh, all the developers on this team sucks for you, bro.
Handicap.
Rip!
Nah, that's just enable God mode.
No, developers use your special powers. Go in gut mode. I'm actually just gonna walk straight past. I don't believe I'm gonna die. Oh,
I swear to God, if Canyon isn't the 7th map in this game mode.
Okay.
It's not in the rotation, but Canyon can be played on melee arena.
How?
Oh my god.
The server seems to be full.
I do believe it is at the moment, but we can switch back to the other rotation and then allow you to join.
Weird, there's 32 out of.
Go for Reflex, I believe in you. Oh, you died, no.
Yeah. There's no.
Oh yeah, 6-3, go get him.
Ryken, you must revenge. Reflex.
Nah,
kill
GG.
that person.
Nice try.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
You must kill your teammate now.
It's definitely one, man.
Ryken better be second place.
I
Yes! Oh, Reflex that 5th place. What's going on?
Not too bad, right? Not too bad.
Nice. Cool maps.
There's one more which is like Canyon, which is
I just think it was really fun actually being here.
Oh, there's another one?
But it's Canyon, you remember that map we took out of rotation? Where the guy was doing it for Mini Arena too, but it's not in this on this
right.
Did we play the one with the church?
Oh yeah, that one.
No,
We didn't
don't
play
spoil
that.
it, don't spoil it.
I
Another
don't
one.
remember any.
UK, you wanna do a pike wall?
I just
Wanna
Phallic
do a
summation.
pike wall?
Sorry.
Pike wall.
Let's do a fucking pike wall. Yeah, pike wall, here we go, boys. We're gonna wait for the French to ambush us, we're gonna do a pike wall. We're not
I
gonna
think
move
the
on.
ambush
We're
kind of
gonna
kills
stand our
itself when
ground.
you say in TeamSpeak that we're doing a pike wall.
Wait, let's say one in UK.
I'm sure
Let's
the
walk
French
slowly.
can't hear.
Let's press shift and just walk slowly towards them.
Yeah, I think my game
Yeah,
was
that-
crashed.
You see, it works, we can actually scare the
Okay,
French
no,
off so
there
they
we
crash their games.
Anyway.
Got a nice indicator to know where they're walking.
We are
Whatever
basically
we say,
okay.
Okay. March forward slowly, we got this. Don't worry, so French, let's be reasonable, okay? You just lie down and die, and we stab you, okay?
I like how all the French choose
What
to
about
make
we had round
lower
shields to
attacks.
hold fast for a shield wall?
I do believe that we, the British, no offense, do have first right in this, and I do believe you're gonna sit down and let us stab you.
Yeah, because
Okay,
we
that's not
can't
gonna happen.
do
We're
it
all gonna charge. You know, that's what's gonna happen. So,
Oh, that is so visceral.
What happened?
I'm the first one to die. Goddamn.
That looked so great. That looked like a real charge.
Got to say farewell. It was very good to test out all these things.
That's okay. Yeah, thanks for
Goodbye.
joining, mate.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Au revoir.
cheers.
Have a great one, Ralph. Oh, you already left.
Yep. We do have another map, but unfortunately I forgot to include it in the rotation, so I can restart the server again afterwards and show you them. But there's more things to see still, so hang on there for a while.
Even more things to see.
Yes. New dance moves
Well,
for the
I'll
bots.
see you boys around. I have work to attend to tomorrow. And after that, my regiment. Anyway, thank you all, and you may
Bye.
have a great time.
Yeah,
No
well,
worries.
Nice
See you.
evening.
Thanks for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye, Wilson.
Will do, boys.
Don't burn your house down.
Bye, Dad.
Oh, come on. Don't make jokes of that.
Too soon. It's too soon.
And actually, an old man died that night, so please don't make jokes of
It
that.
was almost 10 years ago since my house burned down, and it's still too soon.
It is too soon indeed. for
And,
the
then,
house to
and
burn
then
down.
I'm the one making the jokes about it all the time.
Alright, let's check out more content, right? More content. Let's go.
Ooh.
This
Another
isn't,
plane.
this isn't snow, remove it from the game.
Can you make it snow on the map?
Very crazy plans.
What does the L mean?
Large.
Large?
Does it really mean large?
L for lack of snow.
Cheeky.
And hardcore army assault, so this is...
What does the L like actually mean? Line battle?
One question I'd have about artillery.
large.
Are you, when you update artillery with movable artillery pieces and stuff, will you also like nerf artillery a bit? Because right now it feels that every time when there is artillery in line battles, it feels to be just controlling the part of the battlefield it sees. So it seems to be a bit too accurate and too fast reloading.
We're planning on including some recoil as well to the artillery pieces to increase the skill gap for, because at the moment one of the problems is that you can zero in on a target, which makes it very difficult.
Jumpster.
You hot miking, buddy.
Jumpster.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, there we go.
This looks good.
Yeah, so you can just check it out, right?
Well,
Did
I'm
we,
not good, because we're playing single life army hardcore. We probably
Yes.
shouldn't just run and kill each other.
Yeah, maybe you
Let's
shouldn't
form a
do that.
line.
Yeah, we should probably form lines and
Make
run
line.
around each other.
Oh, holy.
1v1s, by the way.
That's a change.
I've noticed that you've removed the ability, as Charles says, to auto run and then tab out.
Yes.
Oh,
intended.
Jesus. Why? Now I have to run across the entirety of Black Forest while staring. Oh no.
Oh no.
Also, those are good few gentlemen forming a line to just skirmishing. Shame.
Yeah, that's.
All I see is Britain winning
Slave
right
for
now.
FOL, please.
That's what you always see.
Admin, please.
Was there a specific reason why you took out the auto running and tabbing out?
Technical reason.
Alright.
Wow, this map is big.
Should be as big as the others.
That's big,
Relatively.
Yeah. Because at the beginning kinda looks like it's just kinda long, but it also goes
Yes.
like to the side, super far.
Ooh, I'm looking at this map and I mean, it looked nice to have a new map, but I am not feeling it. This map is gonna be a camp fest.
Well, the thing about this
The
map is
only
like there are
cover I
like many
can
hills
see
you can
is
take
in
position.
the very edges.
I mean, what I like about this map is there are many hills who are spread out. Because
Yes.
in some maps it feels that there are like 2 or 3 big hills, and then those hills are always where all the regiments are going to. But here it seems like there's a nice variety of cover and good positions, so I hope that there would be more movement. Was this map also made like just with thinking more cavalry because in the size?
Well, most of the open blaze maps, since they don't have much around them, they are made with that intent, right? Obviously, some maps will not be able to support cavalry due to the amount of stuff they have on them, but this one can definitely do that. And we have been, as you might have noticed, we have been changing some styles based on feedback that we've been receiving from people for certain line battle maps. Like people wanted more round hills, right? And
yeah.
They are more equal to a extent, so that allows for more flanking maneuvers, and that's what we've been doing with some of these line battle maps. Test them out, see how they work out, see if they're better than the other ones, and until we can come up with a style which is, well, relatively perfect for the kind of style that the regiments want to play.
That central bowl there is gonna be a murder zone, though.
Yes, though there are plenty of hills covering other positions where you can avoid that central bowl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, no one's gonna ever go in there because, you know, if you do, you're gonna get murdered.
Yes. Well,
if there's any idea of what the artillery update's going to be about, will it at least add mobile artillery, or would it still be stationary?
Movable artillery is going to be part of the update. I'm spoiling, yes, but, you know, yeah. We'll be doing movable artillery.
So does that mean there'll be horses to draw them around too?
No.
I like the way you're trying to draw as much information as possible. It's very
Yes.
tactical. I see what you're doing. Very nice.
It's good though.
Yeah, the last Prussian is in our spawn.
First and foremost, we're going to have artillery pieces moved by hand, right? It did happen historically as well. They did move some artillery pieces by hand, not over long distances, of course, but it was still possible.
Grex, turn and fight that
It's
man.
mostly to adjust their location so you get a better sight.
Will I get to carry the swivel gun as a minigun?
Mobile artillery.
I expect to carry the swivel with 2 hands, yes.
Yeah.
Yo, last Prussian. Melee duel. Honorable.
Melee, so we can switch to the next round.
Oof. You deserve to die now, Grex. You dishonorable. The British are victorious.
Shooting and archery. Oh.
Yes,
So
as
this
you can
kind of
see-
screen will be at the end of every round now?
Yes, for everything.
Oh, that's nice.
It's going to be pretty sweet, right? For line battles. Yeah.
Oh, that would look very nice.
Read them and weep, fellas.
It means nothing when you're dishonorable.
Oh my god.
Oh,
There's
Plains 1, S for extra snow.
Extra snowy.
Like
Snow,
the map,
snow,
like the map
plains.
from before was like a 2 out of 10 because there wasn't enough snow.
S for super huge.
Wait, I don't understand. There's already snow plains 1, 2, and 3.
Well, that obviously isn't enough snow yet.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't this be snow plains 4? Is my point.
No, because they are different variations. So
So this is
the
small,
reason
or?
why we've included L, that's for large and small, right?
Will both be on the public server rotations?
No.
Okay.
But what we want to do is that obviously I am also I was also a player of, like, some of you might remember the Mounted Musket module. I've also worked on the Napoleonic Wars DLC, and some of the greatest fun times I've had in the game was 1-for-1 regimented line battles. Right? At the moment, that isn't really possible because the map size are so huge that it takes a lot of time to travel distance. However, thanks to these new additions, right, smaller map lanes, we'd love to see that take off. Yes, we know, like, competitive melee combat play is all well and good, but I'm pretty sure everyone enjoys the good old line battle warfare, right? And we're talking about here regiment versus regiment competition, competitive play within the line battle standard. If this takes off, I'd also like to promote this within a competitive standard and also an official standard with prizes, just as I would like to do with the melee combat mechanics. But yeah, just let us know what the chaps think.
So is this like for the far future, the match you're showing us right now, or will this be released with the melee update?
This all with the melee update, all of them.
Nice.
I am excited, then. This is awesome. I love these maps.
Are the Army Front servers going to have the large varieties or the small ones?
Say again, sorry?
Are the public Army Front servers going to have like Snowplanes 1 large or Snowplanes 2 small?
The large variations, because
Alright,
this will be an entire massacre, of course.
Yeah, hell yeah.
This will not be available. This will not be present on the public servers at all.
Yeah. Can you add some fog, Andrew? It's
Alright.
so, I think we should reconfigure and maybe add some more presets for fog and stuff, for heavy light.
Suddenly, everything got very bright.
We're doing the work of God, so.
Oh, it became sunny again.
Yeah.
I should have picked oh, no. Doesn't matter, I'm dead. You can do it, Rutherford, I believe in you. Go, Kamov.
Hide behind the tree.
Yeah, it's getting foggier. More fog than this.
I think I remember one specific NW map which fog was so dense you couldn't see further than 5 meters.
Was it the swamp map? What did we call it again? Oh, but then I remember it as well.
Yeah, I think that's the one we did in the beginning, right?
No, not Chamerba. Yes, it was one of the earlier maps.
Yeah.
Desert Plains 1.
Snowy.
Small.
With snow.
With snow.
Yes, with snow, definitely.
Any doors?
Yes, stands.
There better be snow on this map.
If not snow to begin with, snow needs to be added.
Well, we can just make it snowing, it's a desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
User disconnected from your channel.
Catch.
Yeah, there comes the snow.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally, I feel comfortable on this map. Oof.
Russia.
Wait, were you actually able to manipulate the weather, or this is just random occurrence?
No, I am manipulating the
There's
weather.
there's a console comment for it.
Yes.
I'm not seeing collection on the ground just yet. Oh no, never mind. There it's starting.
To start in a few seconds.
Man, I need to relearn how to aim with these new crosshairs.
Agreed. Same, man.
Nail, best crosshair confirmed, yes.
Yeah, dude, I really like it too.
It's easier to align stuff over long ranges.
Which one are you using?
Nail.
Nail. Oh, I'm using Fancy.
I'm using Fancy. I'm trying Fancy right now. I kind of like the cross thing, that like typical freaking Counter-Strike cross there.
Oh, the simple one. Line or just nails, right? Yeah.
I think it's line. Yeah. But I noticed it seemed really awkward for landing shots on long distances.
Alright. So, on the small maps there won't be any artillery? Or what?
They
On
have
the small maps?
1v1 line battles, or 2v2
Alright,
for
alright.
smaller regiments.
Yes.
Yeah, just wondering.
If we really want to introduce artillery pieces, then we can just place them somewhere since we plan on making them movable in the future, and then regiments can either use them or not use them for their own purpose.
Rifleman.
Alright, cool.
Hey.
Oh, come on.
Hey.
So like, really generally, roughly speaking, when do you think the next time another faction will be released is? Within a year or something?
I don't have an accurate account of that yet, apologies for now.
Alright, I get you.
Give me Russia or give me death.
Please.
The reason for that is because we have other classes, which we need to do first.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
No problem.
Ooh, nice shot, Kuro.
I mean, only 50 meters, so, you know.
But I
Thanks.
was like going down the hill, unless you were like somewhere. Not that I was looking.
I mean, I was having a battle earlier today and I got several kills arcing bullets over hills. Like, they were hiding behind the hills and I still got kills on them. That is the glory of being part of the 90-second lights.
God damn it.
Fight.
I mean, all you have to do to arc the bullet is hold the musket sideways, right?
Oh man.
Yeah, guaranteed headshot.
Robbery, motherfucker.
Fucking curve the bullet around.
Some new tactics for you, Wes.
Yeah, can you imagine
this
all the
the
lights holding
Napoleon?
their musket sideways?
Yeah.
Am I talking to the Napoleon here, inventor of the greatest tactics known to man?
We.
Same goes for the cannons, yes, just hold them sideways to shoot better.
Yeah, like you
Need
just get
those-
like 7 people
Just
holding up
flip
your
them
gun.
Got
over.
mobile
Go
RD
sideways.
pieces. When you're sitting there walking it down like a fucking minigun, just hold it sideways.
More accurate.
Like when I
definitely.
add movable artillery, then it should also be able to fire on the move, so you just have like a fucking...
Or just hold the
Flag
entire
gun.
cannon sideways, right?
Oh yes.
I can already see the cannon riding away from a line, firing to accelerate. Sounding great.
Gotta go
The
fast.
British are victorious.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Go faster, 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 faster.
Yeah, so some of my best moments in NW had cannons as part of the happenings. Like
would've
how I
liked
got
it
hit by a
screen.
bullet, the stun of it delayed me, and then I see where I would have been if I didn't get stunned, just wipe 4 or 5 guys in front of me with a cannonball, and I was like, I just got saved by an enemy bullet.
Alright, so chaps, as you can see as well, all these new melee arena maps can be played on the deathmatch game mode. Pretty handy, right? Just a different style for melee combat.
It is.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a surgeon. It's against my code of ethics to fight.
I accidentally stabbed the musician, which I would never do.
Drax, you silly boy. You thought you stood a chance, that's cute.
Right, we're gonna be heading off now. Thanks for the invite, guys. Great work
see ya,
on the
chaps.
game so far.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Goodbye.
Thanks for
See you.
joining.
Goodbye.
See you.
Well, it was fun being here.